Ameera Harouda is a journalist and producer. She's also a mother of four living in Gaza. Let's speak to her now. Ameera, 15 years of the Israeli blockade has affected everyone in Gaza. But can you describe the impact it has had on children?
Thank you for having me with you today. I think it's very hard to explain exactly how this impacts the children in Gaza because, the situation is still continuous since 15 years until now. It's not only blockade, but we are talking about 4 wars. These children, they witnessed it during the last few years. Many of these children, they are suffering from trauma. We are talking about heavily trauma. And we don't have enough centers actually in Gaza to cover all, children all over Gaza Strip. Also, some of them, they have a lot of nightmares. Some, they couldn't study well with even when they are dealing with each other, you can find a lot of aggression, a lot of violence towards each other. And this is, I think, not only because of the blockade, but also because of the war during the last few years. We are talking about 61 child killed during last war, 2021. And these children whom still alive and they lost their families, they still suffer until today from this, let's say, the result of the war. Even now, when they hear the sound of the bombing or they hear the sound, there is like F-16 in the sky, they are afraid and terrified that something is going to happen. So I think children will, live for a long time suffering from a lot kind of trauma, and it's not only affecting their mental health, it's also affecting the physical situation for these children. They are getting more violence towards each other, and they are getting less obey to their parents and to their teachers in the school. You don't feel that the children is concentrating something. No, you feel all the time they are scared and worried that something is going on or will happen to them again.
I remember talking to you during the last Israeli bombardment of Gaza and how it was affecting your children and how scared they were. Is there any access to mental health services or psychological services in Gaza? How do children get help for their fear and their depression?
It's difficult to get access to these centers in Gaza, even though that these centers try to reach as much as they can children in Gaza. But for them, they cannot cover the whole children in Gaza. We are talking about 48% of the population in Gaza, they are children. So it's difficult for them to cover all this amount of number of children and provide them with service. Even until now, my children is still, sometimes they're having nightmares. Sometimes they are not able, to sleep, to play with each other, normally like any other place in the world. Because if they hear the sound of the bombing or if they hear the sound of the F-16, let's say at the beginning of last May, we are thinking that something is going on in Gaza and another war will start. Children, they hear it in the news, they hear it in the street, and you don't feel that they are, living normally in that day. So access to this service in Gaza is very hard, it's very difficult for children. I think international organizations need to focus more on these children. They need, to bring more projects to these children here in Gaza. They cannot just leave them like that because you are talking about children, they grown up under 4 wars, under escalation, fight most of the time. So you need someone who's, providing them with this service, to grow up, let's say, mentally fine,
I mean, all parents want for their children is to live in a safe environment and have happy, healthy lives. And that just seems to be impossible to achieve in Gaza. Save the Children has called on Israel to lift its blockade. Do you think your children will ever live in a Gaza without the Israeli occupation?
I don't think so, actually, because Israel, I think, across all the red lines. They don't care about the international law. They don't care about the children in Gaza. They believe that everyone in Gaza is a terrorist person, and they just attacked without, looking to the international world and the rules. And this is the main issue. Children, for example, you are talking about my children. They are grown up under atmosphere of violence, war, attack all the time, sound of the bombing. Sometimes they ask some question, you don't know how to answer it to them. For example, they ask if there is like a regular zoo, if there is like normal animals that we can see animals. They only read about them in the book. There is no enough playground or space for children in Gaza. So I don't believe that children in Gaza, they will grow up in a natural atmosphere if the Israeli, occupation continue their block in Gaza.
It is just heartbreaking, Ameera. Thank you very much for speaking with us. We wish you and your children all the best. Ameera Harouda in Gaza there.